Hello everyone, and welcome back to another figure review. Today we're taking a look at what was one of my most anticipated releases of 2024, the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Son Goku Ultra Instinct Toyotarou Edition. This release comes bundled with a Dragon Ball S.H.Figuarts encyclopedia, dubbed the Dragon Ball S.H.Figupedia, and contains information on all the current releases, as well as those scheduled up until April of 2024, which happens to be the 3.0 Teen Gohan. The Figupedia has a few interviews inside, including one with Toyotarou Sensei himself. Fun fact about Toyotarou, he actually is an avid collector himself and really likes the Ginyu Force figures. There's also an interview with the photographer responsible for all the promotional photography we see, and also the product planner. The life and development cycle of the figure is explained to give the collector an idea of what all goes on behind the scenes, and it's genuinely a fascinating read. I'll tell you what, if this video gets 50 likes, I'll do a reading of the Figupedia. As much as I can without getting a copyright strike, so we'll have to play with it. But for today, we're taking a look at Goku specifically and seeing what all has changed compared to the original 2020 release. For the front of the bundle, we have an illustration of Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku drawn by Toyotarou Sensei himself, similar to what we got with the V-Jump release of the Super Saiyan Blue Kaio-Ken Goku. The window gives us a sneak peek at Goku and his Toyotarou inspired hair sculpts and faceplates. The right side of the box shows off Goku in different poses in that iconic manga style paneling that we're used to seeing with all our Dragon Ball releases. The back of the box shows off the front cover of the Figupedia, which if you notice, shows off all the current 2.0 and 3.0 figures. Most of the lettering on the packaging is embroidered and is done in gold, which is a nice touch. The left side of the box shows off more manga style paneling in different poses. Here's a look at the top of the bundle. And the bottom to round this off. Taking a look at the figure packaging itself, we get a first for the Dragon Ball line. A full picture of the figure with no manga style paneling in the background. The main picture used for the front of the box is a one-to-one recreation of the artwork provided by Toyotarou, with Goku surrounded by the aura, or heat, of Mastered Ultra Instinct. The right side of the box shows off some more of that manga style paneling, and reuses 2 of the 3 shots from the previous box. The back of the box shows off Goku in various poses, and also gives us a little preview of what to expect with the extra head sculpt. Here's a quick look at the other side of the box. And a quick look at the top. And the bottom to round off this small package within a massive package. For the paint detail on Goku, it's as good as we've had it in a long time. Both of Goku's head sculpts, yes, 2 of them things, are finished in a brilliant silver with plenty of flake to make them stand out in the collection. The print work for the faces are done beautifully, and the eyebrows on the sideburns are done in the same metallic finish as the hair. As I mentioned earlier, the hair sculpts and the faces are inspired by the artwork of Toyotarou, and I gotta say, Tamashii Nations knocked it out of the park. For the torso, Goku has plenty of shading to give his musculature depth and tone, something the original did not have. We also get shading along the shoulders and arms, as well as throughout the remainder of his gi, with the exposed portions of his flesh being painted. We can see some orange molding on the inside of his left knee, but that's okay. The boots are done in a vibrant blue, with the red accents only helping those boots stand out that much more. I do have some parts of his tassels not painted all the way, but you gotta be looking for that to notice it. The only gripes I have with Goku here are the faces not being battle scarred like the rest of the figure, the back doesn't have any shading, and the sockets of the hip joints are flesh colored. But let's be honest, those things are not really deal breakers. I think the face thing is more of a nitpick on consistency, but they also look so good that I don't think I could have made that call to add battle damage to them. Maybe just here or there like they did on the 2020 release? I don't know. Y'all let me know down below which you prefer, battle damage or Pretty Boy Goku. Still on the subject of those scars, I think the battle damage all over his body not having some sort of line work is a missed opportunity with this reissue, or version, whichever you prefer. Now in some areas you can see where they applied a little bit of shading over those scars, and it really makes them stand out. Given that, could you imagine how much more depth that would have added to an already stellar looking figure if they did that to the whole figure? Taking a look at the 2020 release, we can see that the Toyotarou version of Ultra Instinct Goku has a lighter shade of orange for the gi, with the boots being a lighter blue overall. The torn up blue gi is also done in a blue that is more consistent with the blue for the boots, wristbands, and the sash, whereas the 2020 release had a lighter blue for the undershirt. The skin tones are about the same, with the recent release having that shading I mentioned earlier to really make him stand out. The 2020 hair sculpt is also more influenced by the anime, whereas the Toyotarou edition pulls from the manga. As for the faceplates, we'll touch on those right after the articulation. Alright, let's talk about the articulation here for the Ultra Instinct Goku. As we can see, we're on a 2.0 mold that is, well, shirtless. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, sure then that means he can articulate better, right? Not necessarily. If you're hoping that this figure is going to be comparable to that of the 3.0 Goku and his chest articulation, you're going to be sorely disappointed. As we can see, there's an extra cut in the torso that allows Goku to bring those arms in a lot closer and pull off those dynamic poses and the Kamehamehas effortlessly. This guy, on the other hand, has no such cut. I mean, maybe just a tiny little cut there, but it's nothing like this guy. So he can do the Kamehameha, don't get me wrong. It's just not very good, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the butterfly joints. This guy, on the other hand, just chef's kiss. We might touch on him at a later date, but right now we're talking about the Ultra Instinct Goku. So let's take a closer look at him. Starting with the head and working our way down, Goku here is going to be able to look down about that far thanks to the ball hinge that he has. Actually, not thanks to the ball hinge, because the ball hinge sucks. Looking back is, well, yeah. There are two limiting factors here. One is going to be the sculpted in hair pieces, and two, the ball joint sits in there just a little too deep into the socket. As you can see, it's fairly deep. Yeah. Now, with this head sculpt too, you do get a little bit more range going back just because the sculpted in hair pieces are further up and out of the way. But over here, yeah, it's going to be a pretty big limiting factor. Side-to-side movement is very nice thanks to the neck joint that we have. Side-to-side movement is silky smooth, but I do want to point out that my head sculpt is a tad wobbly, and it's on there pretty snug. I mean, this is how snug it's on there. So snug, in fact, it takes the whole joint with it. Yeah. I have had to fish that joint out of a couple head sculpts for the head swaps that I've done that you'll see later in the video. So, I mean, as you can hear, it makes a firm connection. It's just, look at that. It's just kind of loosey-goosey. I'm not a big fan of that. Anywho, for the torso, we do have an ab crunch. And we do have some leaning back. Any more than that, you activate the torso extension and his trap hole. It's not as bad as Vegeta's that we reviewed not too long ago, but you can definitely get a finger in there. Side-to-side movement is there, especially in the lower section of the waist. Rotating side-to-side with the torso is non-existent, but you do get it down here at the waist. I'm not going to do it just because of fear of paint transfer and scuffing, but there is a reason why they send the figure package to you with a bunch of these around the waist. So yeah, keep that in mind. For the shoulders, they are going to be on a ball and socket system that allow Goku to rotate them around a full 360. You can T-pose very nicely thanks to not having a floating shoulder piece. And for the butterfly joints, I said we'd get here, we talk about it. That's one, and that's the other. This is it. They're useless. I think Yamcha might actually have a little bit better range than this. But again, you are going to have to kind of finagle the arms around to get the poses that you want, to get the Kamehameha to pull off the Kamehameha, I should say. But it's not very good. And in fact, I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring those back out real quick. I'm going to show you what that looks like with the standard Goku releases. This here is the full power Super Saiyan Goku, and yeah, I can get those fists to touch. Here, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's pretty disappointing. The elbows are double jointed, and we do have wrist pegs that are on ball hinges. Biceps do rotate a full 360, by the way. There you go. For the legs, Goku can do the front and back splits, no problem. But for that trade-off, we get the 45-degree splits. We do have an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and an ankle rocker that goes in that far and out about like that. So greater going in, not so much going out, but it's still nice. It's better than Yamcha, that's for damn sure. We can kick down about that far and kick up with the feet about that high. And lastly, the toes are hinged at greater than 45 degrees, but less than 90. So, is this Goku going to be able to do those poses that you want? Absolutely. In fact, let's do a comparison, shall we? Here's the Ultra Instinct Goku on this side. Hold on, just fix you up real quick, Bubba. There we go. Here is the full power Super Saiyan Goku. And here, this is not even fair. Here is the Super Saiyan, or excuse me, the legendary Super Saiyan Son Goku 3.0. Look how far we've come. Actually, this is going backwards. This has been the standard with the first 2.0 figure of Goku. This is going backwards, and this is perfection. So yeah. Let's move on to some accessories, shall we? For the accessories, Goku here doesn't come with the Kamehameha effect piece like the original release did. Instead, it's traded out with an extra faceplate to mimic the Omen release and the windswept hair sculpt, but if you want to stretch it a bit, you can include the Figupedia. For the faces we get, a stern face, a shouting face, a face with his eyes closed, a teeth-gritting face, and a face with Goku looking off to the side, which is personally my favorite. Here I'm going to post up some shots comparing the faceplates that come with both versions. Which ones do you prefer? For me, it's a no-brainer. The Toyotarou ones for sure. For the hands, we get the two fists that come attached, two open palm hands, two martial arts style hands, and two to pull off those Kamehamehas. For the comparisons, here's a look at the Ultra Instinct Goku next to the legendary Super Saiyan Goku, the Majin Vegeta event exclusive, the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan event exclusive, here's a quick look at the original Ultra Instinct Goku as well, and the Blue Eyes White Dragon. For the head swaps, we'll be taking a look at a couple that I have handy here. All of these heads will swap over to the Ultra Instinct body, but they're going to look a little tall. Here is the full power head sculpt, the Super Saiyan Blue head sculpt, the original 2020 Ultra Instinct head sculpt, and the Fang Customs Windswept Super Saiyan hair sculpt. Now for swapping over the Toyotarou heads onto the other Gokus, it'll work, but the issue I ran into is the opposite of what happens when you put these head sculpts onto the UI body, and that is, they sit too far down on the peg, which prevents you from articulating the head properly. Despite that glaring issue, it doesn't look too bad. But I'm going to say it now, the 2020 Ultra Instinct Goku is king. So for my closing thoughts, this Goku here feels exactly like what we've come to expect with the event exclusives, despite not being an event exclusive. He has solid joints and a decent amount of shading to give him that premium feeling, as all premium Bandai releases should feel. The only real complaints I have about the figure are the ones I listed off in the paint detail. If they have given those scars a little more detail, this figure would easily be my #1 figure for the year thus far. Kind of the whole reason I bought two of these things is so I could do some head swapping, only to find out it wasn't going to look as good as I wanted it to, which in turn led to me dropping this down from being my most anticipated release of the year. The good news is, Tamashii is planning on reissuing the original Ultra Instinct Goku later this year in September. I haven't seen pre-orders go up yet at the time of filming this review, but I will definitely be picking up a few of those to make all my head swapping dreams come true. So that said, is this Goku worth your money? It's going to kind of depend on how much of a hardcore collector you are. If you already have the 2020 version of this figure and you don't want the Toyotarou one, then you can safely pass. If you're wanting a shirtless Goku to do some head swaps with, this ain't it. But I personally think it's worth it. Even with the markup, I think that the figure comes bundled with enough to warrant the extra premium in the form of the extra head sculpt, extra faceplate, and yes, even the Figupedia. Just get it now, before it inevitably goes up in price. And that brings us to the end of the review. If you haven't already, kindly hit the like button and subscribe, as it helps me out and keeps the channel growing. Plus, I've got other reviews on the channel and more coming. And I'd also love to know what you think of the figure down below. Do you think that the Toyotarou inspired head sculpts are done nicely? Do you prefer the original? Or was this a hard pass for you? As always, I appreciate y'all stopping by. This has been Talib Reviews, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.